least 10-20 minutes they can save the time and listen to me. Okay. So in short, I will finish up in the name of Lord Ganesha. So I am Dr. Hemant Kumar, was practicing for last 17 years. I was attached to BLD Medical College for last 17 years in the Department of Surgery. So a lot of cases we have done with so many of our colleagues. Now we are established last 3 years. I have started a new hospital with lot of passion. And as we keep on operating and operating, as a general surgeon, I made my genre as a laparoscopy. So I invested a lot of time in laparoscopy. It is not a 1 year or 2 year process. It takes a lot of time to just to be in the track and to make it to a certain level. So whatever I know as on 17 years, I'll just share very simple cases, simple advantages and disadvantages. If you take of laparoscopy, as on today, it is the surgical choice for any abdominal diseases, because as every year goes, the opening of the abdomen and seeing bigger incisions are going away. For probably in future we are expecting no surgery is surgery. That is the way it is. So we do all the things what is to be done inside without opening the abdomen, either through natural orifice or through some small holes. We call it as a keyhole or laparoscopy by different names. Before getting into that aspect, I'll just give my intro of my hospital. This was started in 2017. This is the picture of the hospital. I just go through the slides. Next. So our introduction, we are situated, our hospital is a 50-bedded hospital. We are situated in Bijapur, in front of Al-Amin Medical College. So we have got all the dedicated things, like we have a separate casualty and ICU of 10 bedded. Mainly this hospital, as a surgeon, as a owner, I made it to see that it is mainly of a surgical hospital. Our services mainly include the surgical branches starting from general surgery, laparoscopy, oncosurgery and polytrauma. Since we are into polytrauma, we have got orthopedicians coming for spine surgery, arthroscopy, reconstructive and gynecological surgery. Apart from that, allied branches like medicine and all the people are there who are going to come and visit as and when the patient is there. Hospital photographs I have few at a glance. This is our reception area. OPD, 3 OPDs we have. And this is our general ward. Around 15 general beds are in male and female. And this is our corridors, just for a glance, nothing else. This is our ICU, updated ICU as on today. This is our modular theatre. Since when I started conceiving as a surgeon, I had a dream to have a OT like this, because I thought at least 15-20 years I will get a lot of time to spend there. I wanted that part to be like my temple, where I will be spending lot of time in it. This is my major OT. This is the other OT, septic OT. These are all the private wards, private rooms. I made sure that everything should be very clean and tidy. They are all private room corridors. This is a casualty of 4 beds, but we have put only 2. That should be. Apart from that, all the other things like pharmacy, hospital. We have got a centralized laboratory, which almost all 90% of the investigation we do in the house only. I am the primary consultant, and these are all my colleagues who are on call. They will visit. Our staff. This is our operation theatre team. We have got 2 ventilators, and we have got 2 sets of laparoscopy, energy sources, anesthesia workstation. most of the gadgets which is required as on today we bought it. We have a empaneled for a lot of cashless services, insurance facilities. Next month probably we are going for Ayushman Bharat. We are promoting our hospital as a minimal access surgery hospital, more of laparoscopy. Apart from that, whatever patients comes, we keep pushing the patients. So this is a small intro of the hospital. Let's come to the today's topic. So the laparoscopy means anything you see inside with a microscope. Laparos means abdomen, scopy means to see. So there are various ways of you can open and see, you can put a camera inside and see. So laparoscopy has evolved in a very rich manner for the last 20 years. So everything you want to see, you just put a camera inside through a 10 mm port and you can see. It is called by different names like keyhole surgery, endoscopic surgery, or buttonhole, or minimally invasive. Minimal access surgery means it is a broad term where thoracoscopy, seeing inside the chest, minimal access spine surgery, laparoscopy is a part of minimal access surgery. So frequently done procedures, almost all the procedures in the abdomen can be done through laparoscopy except delivery and all those things. Most of the things you can do with the laparoscopy. Commonly done procedures are non-specific mesenteric adenitis, or if the patient has undiagnosed, probably tuberculosis, we can pick up through laparoscopy. Appendicectomy, hernia surgery, gallbladder related surgeries, splenectomies, incisional hernia, resections, achalasia, that is surgeries on the esophagus, and all we can do. And the area of laparoscopy is in gynecology. Majority of the pelvic organ surgery like uterus or ovary tubes, tubal reconstructions, prolapse, most of them can be very well dealt with a laparoscopy. Most commonly we come, all the practice depends on what type of patients we get. Most of the time these are the common surgeries we do. There are a number of surgeries, but commonly we get these type of surgeries like an appendicectomy, diagnosticoscopy, gallbladder, splenectomy, hysterectomy. It is picking up well. Fundoplications. Of late, for last 1 year, there is a good number of fundoplications for reflex esophagitis and repair of DU perforation. One time for laparotomy for perforation itself was a big thing. You need to have an ICU and most of the time you choose to leave. When you are postgraduates, they will do laparotomy, patient will go to ICU. There are some other related complication. But as on this year, as on now, the results are much better. Even we are getting the closure of this duodenal perforation with the laparoscopy also, and nephrectomies. What are the benefits of laparoscopy compared to an open procedure? Is there are very small incisions, up to 10 millimeter or 5 millimeter incisions you will put. One you will put in the umbilicus, which is which itself is a scar which is not visible. And the rest of the incisions or small ports, what we say, we put in such areas which is normally not visible. We try to see that cosmetic part also, which should be hidden in the clothing. And less pain. Definitely the more you cut, the more the pain is there. The more you retract, the more the pain is there. The gentle you hand the tissue, it will respond very better. So less incisions, less pain, less wound infection. Wound infection for me for last 15 years, hardly there are 4 or 5 patients which has got a port site infection. Even for infected cases, peritonitis also, hardly we have, and 2-3 of them turned out to be tuberculosis. If you do a scopy for tuberculosis, then we have a port site infection. So compared to the open procedures, the patient will stay for 5 days if the wound infection is not there. But if it gets infected, it depends on what severity. The patient keeps on coming to the hospital for months together. They will get a bad scar. Invariably, they will get into an incisional hernia, for which again we need a surgery. These are the sequel of an open surgery. We are not condemning any open surgery, but there is definitely an advantage of laparoscopy over the open surgeries. Then early recovery. Now, as on this day, the patient gets admitted, before only they will ask, sir, when you are operating and when you are discharging. So you have to tell the dates. Today you admit, evening I will operate, day after tomorrow I will send. This is the time we are practicing. So definitely it will come handy in it because of the logistics, because of the transportation, because people's patience level has come down. They want early results. In that part, the early recovery definitely helps, which indirectly tells us less hospital stay, less scar. Obviously, the no scar is the best scar. Next, early back to work. So most of the time in laboratory we do patient you tell or don't tell them, they invariably not go for work for 3 6 months. They take rest and they gain weight, all these things. So in laparoscopy, at least if you do a gallbladder or appendectomy, straight away after 3 4 days you can put them into the one. Then routine walking, cycling and everything. All the labor class people directly after 1 week you can straight away they can go for lifting the weight and all, because chances of since the pain is the less, they will go for an early one and minimal bed loss. Definitely laparoscopy has got. If there is a bleeding, you cannot do laparoscopy. If there is a bleeding, you are not a laparoscopic surgeon. So compared to what we see in the open surgery, the moment you cut, you coagulate and do all this. In laparoscopy, there is nothing there. The primary mode of laparoscopy is not to make it to bleed. You know the exact anatomy, you dissect it properly, everything will be there in place, you catch hold of this, it should not bleed. So most of the videos what you see, hardly you will try to find where is the bleeding. That's how it should be. It should be. Next. All the patient we cannot do laparoscopy. There are certain contraindication for laparoscopy. The main is generalized peritonitis. That is a very subjective. If the patient comes very early, like if there is a perforation, they come in a 24 hours or 48 hours. If the patient is hemodynamically stable, still you can venture for laparoscopy. You can do a peritoneal lavage and close the perforation. But those peritonitis patients who goes for established septicemia and septicemic shock and with respiratory problems, laparoscopy is absolutely contraindicated, because in laparoscopy you are putting a carbon dioxide inside the abdomen, which is very rapidly absorbed into the system, blood system compared to the oxygen. So the acidosis will be there and the related complications are much higher. You do a wonderful peritoneal DO perforation closure, patient will not come out of the general anesthesia. You put them on ventilator, patient will have acidosis, all this. And duration of surgery is also important in peritonitis. If you keep operating for 3 4 hours, definitely patient is going to die. There is a certain amount of time in which you have to finish and come out. 30 35 minutes, the major problem should be solved and rest should be a peritoneal lavage and it should come out. So regarding generalizing peritonitis, it is very subjective. You need to select the patient very accurately and you have to be at there at least for 35 minutes. Next, hypovolemic shock itself is a contraindication, because you put a carbon dioxide inside, you keep a pressure of 12 or 14. So the venous return into the heart itself is low, over which you put a pressure, so you will have a low very cardiac output and the hypotension will progress. Once the hypotension progresses, then hypoxia and related problems will start. So hypotension is a absolute contraindication. Next is severe cardiac diseases. They are all related to one another, only related to hypotension and cardiac output only. Next is hemoglobin less than 7. Again, it is relative what surgery you are doing. If you are doing a tubectomy with 7 also you can do. Those who are sustained, the patient who are there with that hemoglobin, they maintaining well. There is all the physiological performance of the patient. Within 10 minutes, 15 minute procedure still you can do, but by baseline, by criteria wise, that is the line. If you are doing a laparoscopy at 7 means if something happens, you are questionable. So which is also of medical legal importance also. Uterine size of more than 12 weeks. The pregnancy after second trimester. Most of the time in pregnancy we try to avoid the surgeries, but there are certain situations where surgery has to be done, like in appendicitis or perforation. It is an emergency. There are 2 lives involved. At least we should save at least 1 life in such situation. We try to avoid, but certain times we cannot. But if the pregnancy is more than second trimester, though the abdomen space is occupied by the uterus, so it is a bit difficulty, and there is always a chance of intra-abdominal pressure on the baby itself. So it is a contraindication. Multiple abdominal previous surgeries means any time you breach the peritoneum, definitely it has to heal by a scar either between the intestine or between the omentum and the intestine, or the intestine into the enteroabdominal wall. So there is adhesion formation. So in such cases, at least 3-4 surgeries, everywhere there is a scar, we try to avoid, because invariably the first port you will put, if you are lucky you are in the correct space, if you are unlucky straightway you are in the bowel. So again you have to open and correct and all. So it is a stressed up situation for a surgeon. Large ventral hernias. Now as on today, majority of the hernias they are done by laparoscopy. The only contraindication, large inguinal hernias, large ventral hernias. So you have to repair the defect, then put a big mesh, which is not a good idea. So it is a large incisional hernias, a large inguinal hernia, which is a complete scrotal hernias are contraindications. So I will go through few of my surgeries which are very simple. Diagnostic laparoscopy we do when the patient keeps on coming to you with the right iliac fossa pain. If they say right iliac fossa, you are justified to remove the appendix. All the reports are normal. You give antibiotic after antibiotic, you see it is not reducing. Then on a scan also you cannot convince them you have got an appendicitis. There has to be a proof. At least in laparoscopy there is a scope. You can tell them we will do a diagnostic scopy. Our prime importance is to see what are the things which is there which is abnormal. Then at the end everything is normal. You can take out the appendix and come out. So diagnostic laparoscopy, especially in cancers, staging laparoscopy is very important. Most of the time they will say CT scan we do. It depends. They will give stage 2 resectable tumors. You open with a big incision and prepare for 5-hour surgery. You open and you most of the time you find metastasis everywhere in the peritoneum, liver. So we have got no chance. We have to simply close and come out. Patient will be even burdened economically and by the surgical stress also. Laparoscopy is boon for staging cancer. You put a scope, see the disease, where all it is spread. If it is everywhere it is spread, you just come out. 10 millimeter incision, the job is done. At the same time, you can take the biopsy also, which will prove the diagnosis. Likewise, for cancer patient, definitely staging and diagnostic is a lot of importance. Video. What all we see in a diagnostic laparoscopy? Usually, we will put for all the camera ports, we are going to put a 10 mm because we use a 10 mm telescopes. In diagnostic laparoscopy, you are supposed to see from stomach, small intestine, liver, gallbladder, colon, uterus, ovary, all the things. You have to see, keep on searching. Most of the time patient comes with appendicitis. You do appendicectomy, you are very happy. Patient will not be relieved of the pain. Once in a year it can happen. The patient can have Meckel's diverticulum which is infected. So what we are doing in this is we are doing it. We start searching from stomach. We start searching. At one point, we will start at the right iliac fossa, ileocecal junction. We see the appendix, colon. We keep on searching. Small intestine. The another advantage of laparoscopy is when you are operating in an open procedure, nobody can see what you are doing inside. The only if they want to see, they have to come above the surgeon and they have to see. But in laparoscopy, everybody can see it, everybody can understand, everybody can read. At the same time, you can record it and keep for our self-improvement purpose. If there is something wrong we have done, at least you can see, go through the video and correct on the next time and come back, not to do such a same mistakes. So it itself gives a feedback for the surgeon. So we keep on searching. If everything is fine, we conclude that the diagnostic laparoscopy is negative, everything is fine. Most of the time, depending on the symptoms, invariably we knock out the appendix and come out. Only thing in this situation is if you do open and you can get to touch the tissues, you can touch the liver, you can touch the intestine and CT. Laparoscopy, that part you cannot do it because it's all with the instrument. Only you have to touch with the instrument and get the feedback. If you touch with the instrument just like a pen, You have to the feedback you have to assess. It is hard, soft. There is a problem or no problem. That is the only fallacy of laparoscopy. You will not get to feel the touch sensation. Next. See. Next one. For all the cholelithiasis patients, you have those who have a stones for a gallbladder. One time we used to see large scars in the right subchondral area. So now, if you say patients are aware of it, if there is a gallstone, they know that it has to be removed by laparoscopy only. When you start counseling, they will say, is the laser is possible, is the laparoscopy is possible. For gallbladder, the gold standard should be laparoscopic only. Gone are the days when you open and do a simple cholecystectomy. It has to be laparoscopic only. There are the simple cases. And the modern day cameras are so clear, they are so clear. You are getting 4K cameras also. You can see every millimeter of the tissue, and you exactly know what you are doing. Every bite you are cutting, every bite you are dissecting, you know you are right or wrong. If it bleeds, you are wrong. If it doesn't bleed, you are right. That is the cystic artery being separated from the cystic duct. You people will coagulate the cystic artery. You can flip the cystic artery. There are so many ways to control an artery and a duct. Routinely, titanium clips are put, 2 for the patient side, 1 for the specimen side. If there is 1 ml or 5 ml of bleeding in that callus triangle, you cannot see anything. Again, you go on to suctioning and mopping. Blood loss will be absolutely minimal. Cystectomy being transected. This is a simple case. Next time. Okay. Previously, in all the textbook, we get to see that if the gallbladder stone is there, if there is acute cholecystitis, the golden time to operate is first 48 hours or 72 hours, and those things have gone now. Now the people are doing even for 4th day, 5th day, 6th day, it doesn't matter. If he is skilled, he is going to operate and the patient will be fine. Because if there are so many studies, if you control conservatively for an acute cholecystitis, they say after 6 weeks, just like in appendicular mass, after 6 weeks again you have to go for surgery. That is the easy time for surgery. In gallbladder it is not like that. After 6 weeks the calot can be frozen, the tissues are not opening up. The chances of bile duct injury are more in those patients who are managed conservatively. This is another case of gangrenous gallbladder. According to textbooks, if you go, you should not operate this. But once you enter, you know that it is gangrenous. Again, you wait for 2-3 days, and then again complication, perforate. Then you have to. If you are perfect in anatomy, the laparoscope should be a bone. Tissues are very much congested. Lot of oozing will be there. free fluid also will be there. For acute cholecystectomy, if you are doing a cholecystectomy, actually it is easy to do a cholecystectomy because there is so much of edema. Even with the suction only, you can open up the veins. Suction. So you are using a suction, it just passes in between the cystic artery and the cystic duct. You need to have patience while doing all these surgeries because the fast you go, the late you will finish. The slow and steady you go, the early you will finish and come out of the theatre. Cystic artery. These surgeries invariably such type of patient will take at least 1.5 hours for completion of surgery. Otherwise, the regular gallbladders will take 20 minutes, 30 minutes maximum. Few patients we have done for 5 minutes also. It is that easy. It all depends on that day. Ectopic. Ectopic. Ectopic pregnancy, if you go for a gynecological side, most commonly on an emergency basis, we get a ectopic pregnancy which has ruptured and bled into the abdomen with the pain abdomen. And this is the patient with 4 weeks, not the 4 weeks, at least 3 weeks of pregnancy with ruptured ectopic. Most of the time they will be anemic. You have to arrange for blood. Invariably they are hypotension. It itself is a contraindication. We have to take very calculated decision. Of late, for all the ectopics, we are doing laparoscopy. I want to suction all the blood clots. Don't try to go and find for an ectopic. Where is the ectopic? Just go step by step. Suction out all the clots on the periphery. Then go to the ectopic side. Because if it starts bleeding, again you have to go there and spend time there. Suction out here. See, that is the ectopic in the tube. As of now, it is not bleeding. I am not worried. I am slowly cleaning it up. And the abdomen pressure will keep it low, maybe 10 or 8. Ectopic pregnancy excision or self-injectomy is the most easiest procedure to do. So we are doing self-injectomy. We are excising the tube along with the ectopic. These patients will recover very fast. 2-3 days, if their HB is around 10, you will see post-operatively for the blood transfusion and all. They are very happy with the ectopics. We used to see lot, you will get lot of calls for ectopic where we would a big laparotomies just to suck out the blood and just to do a this removal of the tube. It should never be done. If the patient is relatively stable, go for laparoscopy. This is the easiest, as we do in a general surgery in a simple appendectomy. Ectopic is like that only. It is even easier than that. There are so many surgeries. Hysterectomy. Simple. The another most commonly done procedure is a laparoscopic hysterectomy. Majority of the patient will come for most of hysterectomies will be going on. appendix. First you cut the round ligament, then the tubes, open the plane between the broad ligament, anterior fold, posterior fold. Very systematic. Absolutely no blood loss. We know exactly where is the uterine artery, where is the bladder. You dissect the bladder. Those who have undergone cesarean section, you have a task. It depends what type of adhesions of the urinary bladder with the cervix. You got so many new energy devices. It will make us to do a faster procedure. The uterine artery being coagulated. Vault is being cut. You can see hardly any blood loss. You remove the uterus through the vagina itself and you are going to close the vault. Few people will close the vault through pervaginally, but if you are in a habit of suturing, so it is better to practice the suturing on the vault. Because for this suturing we need to spend lot of time inside the OR. You keep suturing and suturing, you will be at some point you will be comfortable in doing it. Once you start suturing laparoscopically, then you can feel that you have arrived for laparoscopy. If you are handicapped in suturing, then there are situations it has to be sutured. Then again for that you have to open. There are so many videos. I think that the time is up. I think we should stop. And I am very thankful to all the Ayush Federation of India and all the IME people who have attended and just listened after 9:30. I am very thankful to that for giving an opportunity. Probably next time, if I can select only gallbladder and talk about the different things. So as on today, the message should be for anything inside the abdomen. First, laparoscopy should be come into mind, whether it is possible in laparoscopy or not. If it is possible, definitely. If I am operating a patient, the first question I will ask is, if she is or he is my relative, what is the best suggestion I can give? That is the bottom line. If I say for my relative I can do this is the best, I definitely want to do the same thing to the patient. So that is the bottom line. So if at all for any abdominal surgeries, the first thing should come into mind whether it can be done in a minimal invasive. That should be the thing. If you are achieving it, then definitely you are progressing ahead. Otherwise, now I can see so many calls I get for tubectomy. People are still opening for tubectomy. We should not be done. It takes only 5 minutes. It takes only 5 minutes. But patients are also another way. They will not believe laparoscopy. They want there is something you are going to leave inside. The things are not proper. They are not going to accept. We try to counsel them, but if they are not happy with it, we cannot force them. We will give a choice, the best choice, the second choice. And then whatever they are finalized, again we may have to open and do only. So open surgery will never go, but laparoscopy is the future. So there are so many advances. I think we should be aware of that and take the advantage of that. And I am really thankful for all the people who have listened to me. And next time definitely I will be willing to come and share the few videos. Thank you very much. And recently we have started a YouTube channel. Mainly my main thing was I was very happy in teaching. For last 3 years I left the BLD Medical College to dedicate into the hospital. I miss the teaching part. So I will be teaching my brothers. This is like that, like this, like this. So recently we started a YouTube channel. Already around 40 videos are uploaded. This is the link. If you go for YouTube and put an RM laparoscopy and polytrauma, you can subscribe it. It's not mandatory. If you want to see what is the things are happening, you can subscribe and the weekly 1 or 2 videos updates will be there. At least for the one who is doing, at least I can see some other video, I get few points and incorporate into my surgery. Likewise, I can help some surgeon or somewhere where they can pick up few things and that can help in their surgeries. I should be happy with it. That in YouTube you can get all those videos. And thank you very much. Any questions? Are there anything you want to discuss? You can definitely go for discussion. I think we'll break for the lunch, dinner. It's already 10:30. Like, I think we'll proceed for the lunch, sir. Dinner.
Yes, thank you ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ, thank you ಹೇಮಂತ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಸರ್ for elaborating the explanation of laparoscopy. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಇದೇ ಥರ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ CME ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರಲಿ, ಇದೇ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಾಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ.